Have you ever heard someone say, "Just be yourself and everything will be fine"? Or something like, "Just believe in yourself, and the whole universe will help you"? Sounds great, right? But here's the harsh truth. Not every piece of advice that sounds good will actually help you get further in life. In fact, some of them, whether repeated by millions of people, thousands of self-help books, or self-help gurus on TikTok and YouTube, are sweet traps that keep you procrastinating, passive, and living in a delusion of wisdom. This is not a video against advice. This is a video for you, the person who is trying to build a real, unvarnished life, a life with real power, not dependent on the buzzwords floating around out there. We live in an age of information overload. Every day you hear hundreds of inspirational quotes, dozens of pieces of advice on success, happiness, healing, self-love, but if you're not careful, that advice can fool your mind, causing you to stop trying and start hoping blindly. They are wrapped in beautiful words, shared widely by celebrities, but have you ever wondered, are they really true, or are you just repeating something someone said, without ever stopping to check its truth or falsity? I fell into that trap once, believing in things that sounded profound but actually made me stagnate. For example, there was a time when I kept repeating the phrase, "Time heals," waiting for a miracle to happen. But the truth is, nothing is healed unless you actively face and change. This video will revealing 9 shocking truths about seemingly wise advice that is actually a mask. It can be an excuse for laziness, an emotional fallacy, or a cover for an unnamed fear. I won't point out the errors, I'll give you the solutions. Each section in this video not only analyzes the fallacies behind popular advice, but also proposes more correct perspectives and more practical actions, and most importantly wakes you up from the seemingly good things that are holding you back every day. Because the truth is, not everything that inspires is useful, and not every viral advice is right for you. You need the truth. You need the courage to remove the false values that society has stuffed into you. And you need sobriety to build a life based on understanding, not blind faith. If you're ready to see what's really manipulating your mind, stay until the end of this video. Because the next part will reveal the first truth on a piece of advice that sounds so common but is the sweetest trick. Live your passion. Think you know what that means? Wait until you hear the dark side of that advice. Have you ever heard this saying? Follow your passion and the money will follow? It's one of the most powerful pieces of motivational advice of our time. It's everywhere from YouTube videos to TikToks to million-view speeches. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, is it really true? Sounds great, sounds poetic, but what about reality? I have met many young people who quit their jobs and gave up stability to live their passion. Some people love to draw. Some are passionate about dancing. Some spend all day writing or playing games with the dream of becoming a $1 million streamer. But after only a few months, most of them are back to square one, not because they are not talented, but because they have no strategy. The problem isn't that passion is wrong. It's that passion doesn't always feed you. Passion doesn't pay the bills. And worse, it can make you ignore vital factors like skills, markets, social needs, all the things that are necessary for a dream to become a sustainable career. The truth is, passion isn't something you find in a single, aha, moment of inspiration. It's something you develop over time, as you become good at something, and start to feel valuable and impactful. The successful people you admire, they didn't necessarily start with passion. They started with perseverance, with learning how to be useful, and it was that journey that made them gradually love the work. Love the progress. Love the feeling of mastering a skill. So what should the right advice be? Not follow your passion, but rather pursue the skill. Become so good that no one can ignore you. Then the passion will find you. Blank. Blank. And another equally dangerous piece of advice: just being yourself is enough. Sounds very empowering, but if not understood, it can become the perfect excuse for stagnation. Because not every version of you is worth keeping. If you are undisciplined, procrastinate, give up easily, get angry easily, or have low self-esteem, is being yourself still the right thing to do? Many people use this phrase as a shield, to avoid change, to avoid effort, to avoid responsibility. But in reality, self-acceptance is not a stopping point. It is just a starting point to understand yourself, and from there become a better version of yourself. Try asking yourself a simple question. Is the version of me today good enough to get me to the life I dream of? If the answer is no, then you need to change. Not because anyone is forcing you, but because you deserve a stronger, more courageous and proud version of yourself. In short, don't follow your passion blindly. Follow your skills and the passion will follow. Don't just be yourself if you're limiting yourself. Be the best version of yourself every day. Life doesn't require you to be perfect, but it does require you to be honest with yourself, and have the courage to not live in a comfort zone surrounded by positive-sounding advice. In the next section, I'll debunk a piece of advice that has fooled millions of people every time they're hurt. Time heals all wounds. Does time really heal, or is it just a curtain covering a pain that was never touched? Let's explore in the next section. Have you ever heard someone say to you, "Let time heal all things"? Maybe it's after a breakup, the loss of a loved one, or the failure of a big dream. They tell you to let it go. That time will help you forget. It sounds soothing, comforting, and it seems right. But you know what? Time is no magic. If you do nothing, it doesn't heal anything. It just makes the pain familiar. It doesn't go away. There is a truth that very few people dare to say. Time doesn't help you forget, it only helps you bury it temporarily. And sometimes, that is more dangerous than the pain. Because when you don't face it, don't process it, don't release it, the wound doesn't heal. It rots inside. Try recalling an old pain. It may have been years, but just one word, one image, or one melody, and all the old memories come flooding back as if it happened yesterday. Why? Because you let time work it out for you, instead of you actively healing. Healing is not about waiting. Healing is action. It's when you dare to write down your pain. Dare to cry really. Dare to ask yourself, why does it hurt me so much? And dare to face yourself, no hiding, no blaming, instead of just sitting there waiting for time to do it for you. Make time your ally. Take time to journal, exercise, meditate, Go to therapy. Connect with people who understand you. And then, in time, you will heal. It's not the time, it's what you do during that time. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And here's another piece of advice that seems so positive, but can actually hurt you even more. Just think positive. Everything will be fine. Actually, I don't deny the power of positive thinking. But positive thinking is not denying negative emotions. There are days when you are sad, you are tired, you are disappointed in yourself. And then someone says, "Don't be so negative. Think positively." But have you ever felt that, because you have to think positively, you dare not express your sadness? Dare not cry? Dare not admit that you are weak? That's when positivity becomes pressure. And that pressure is toxic. We are not robots. We are human beings, full of sadness, joy, anger, fear, love, and hate. And all of these emotions are valid, if you know how to listen to them and channel them properly. Stoic philosophy has a very profound point. You don't need to control your emotions. You just need to master your response to them. You can be angry, but there is no need to destroy. You can be sad, but there is no need to run away. You may be disappointed, but you can still choose to move forward. So instead of trying to think positive all the time, learn to accept yourself as you are. Allow negative emotions to be acknowledged, and then you can use reason to transform them. Because power is not in a fake smile. Strength lies in daring to look into the darkness within yourself, and still moving forward with a strong heart. Blank. Underscore. Blank. In the next part, we will debunk another seemingly moral advice that can make you a victim in your own life. As long as you are good, the universe will treat you well. Is kindness really the key to happiness? Or will it leave you vulnerable to abuse and neglect? Surely you have heard someone say, "As long as you live well, the universe will never let you down." A beautiful saying. Very beautiful. But, is it true? If being nice is enough, then why are the best people often hurt the most? Why have you sacrificed so much? Endured for so long, but the result is still being looked down upon. Taken advantage of. Considered weak. Here is a hard truth to swallow. Kindness, without limits, becomes a rug for others to wipe their feet on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should be cruel. But if you pour yourself out to everyone, without knowing how to protect yourself, you will eventually burn out, hurt, and lose faith in humanity. I once knew a friend, always helping everyone around her. The first one to arrive when someone needed help, and the last one to leave after taking care of everything. But then, the one time she needed help again, no one was there. Because they were used to her being able to handle it on her own. Kindness, without boundaries, will not be respected. Philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't let people make you act against your best nature, but don't let them think you're weak either." A truly good person is not someone who always nods, always endures, always keeps silent. A good person is someone with principles, knows how to say no when necessary, knows how to protect themselves, and knows that kindness is not resignation. You don't have to please everyone. Be true to your values, but also learn to stand tall and draw clear boundaries. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And now, let's move on to another piece of advice which sounds reasonable, but sometimes holds you back from growing. Balance your life. Don't try too hard. Everyone wants a balanced life. Working enough, resting enough, having time for yourself, family, friends, sounds ideal, but the truth is, no one can live a balanced life just starting out. Have you ever seen a house builder who divides his time equally between resting and building the foundation? No. The first phase is when you need to focus intensely. Put in a lot more effort to lay a solid foundation. Balance will come, but not immediately. Many people don't get very far because they misunderstand the word balance. They think they have to do everything equally. Study a little, play a little, sleep a little, and then the result is nothing progresses. True balance doesn't mean keeping everything the same every day. It's about flexibility in phases. There are times when you need to lean more heavily toward learning, training, and grinding to build your inner strength. And then, later, you'll find a more harmonious rhythm of life. You have the right to rest, but only when you know you've come far enough to deserve it. Instead of trying to keep things balanced right from the start, learn to adjust. Pick a time to lean heavily towards investing in yourself. Then, gradually, you will create stability from within. _blank. In short, kindness is power. When you know your limits, balance is the goal, but don't use it as an excuse to avoid effort. In the next section, I'll give you a very popular, but also dangerous, piece of advice. Just believe in yourself and you can do anything. Is belief enough if you don't have a foundation and actual action? Surely you have heard this saying. As long as you believe in yourself, you can do anything. Sounds powerful and encouraging, right? But if you stop at believing without any concrete action, without any clear skills, then sorry, that's not faith. That's a delusion. I have seen many people say, I believe I will be a great success. But day after day, they do not learn anything new, do not push their limits, and do not dare to fail. They sit still and believe that if they think hard enough, the universe will send opportunities. That is the quickest way to fall into frustration. Faith is no substitute for action. You can believe you can swim well, but if you don't get in the water, don't hold your breath, don't take those first few sips, you'll never learn to swim. True confidence doesn't come from saying the words you say in the mirror every morning. It comes from doing what you thought was impossible, even if it's just one small step. Try asking yourself this question. What did I do today to strengthen my belief in myself? If the answer is nothing yet, then you don't need more faith. You need action. Instead of saying, I will succeed, start with small, manageable things. Read a page of a book, write a plan, practice a new skill, and with every step you take, your true faith will grow, no longer vague, but firmly rooted. _blank. And if faith makes you daydream, here's another piece of advice that leads many people into the trap of comfortable stagnation. Do what you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Sounds too good to be true, right? But what about reality? Even if you're doing what you love most, you're still going to have to deal with the unpleasant parts. The pressure, the repetition, the boredom, the lack of motivation. That's the truth. I used to think I was born to write, Writing was my passion, my life force. But then there were days when I sat staring at a blank screen for hours without writing a single line. It wasn't because I didn't like writing anymore, but because even in passion, there is practice. There is no job in the world that you will love 100% of the time. Even great artists, business founders, and sports coaches, they have to do unpleasant things every day. The difference is, they accept it as a necessary part of the process. So instead of dreaming about that ideal job that will keep you excited, learn to find joy in progress. Instead of asking, "Am I inspired today?" ask, "Did I do better today than yesterday?" Interest may come and go, but ability stays. You will love what you do when you are good at it, when you master it, and when you find yourself creating value from it. Blank. Underscore. Blank. In short, faith without action is blind. Passion without practice is an illusion. Don't let pretty quotes obscure the reality. Every worthwhile journey requires effort, not just inspiration. And every lasting success starts with small things, done over and over again, day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. In the next section, we will talk about one of the most popular advices, but also one that makes you chase forever in exhaustion. Happiness is the ultimate goal. Is happiness really something you should pursue? Or is it just a byproduct of something else? You have probably heard this saying many times. The greatest goal of life is to be happy. It sounds so right, so humane. Because who doesn't want to be happy? Right? We work hard, try to build a family, take care of ourselves, all for one reason: to feel happier. But have you ever wondered, if happiness is the ultimate goal, then why do we feel more tired the more we pursue it? I used to fall into that trap. I thought, if only I could make more money, I would be happy. Then when I did make money, I thought, I guess I need more free time. When I had free time, I felt unmotivated. I kept running in that same circle, and happiness just eluded me. The truth is this: happiness is not something you pursue. It is a natural result of living a purposeful life, living with values, and doing something meaningful every day. Think about it. Have you ever felt happy when you sat there and asked yourself, "Am I happy?" Very rare. But you feel energized after completing a serious workout, or feel relieved when helping someone unconditionally, or feel at peace when each evening looking back on a day lived to the fullest. Not because you try to be happy, but because you have lived a meaningful life. Philosopher Epictetus once said, "Happiness does not come from outside. It comes when you live in accordance with your nature and reason." What is human nature? To grow, to contribute, to connect, to be kind and disciplined. What is the reason? It is the ability to direct actions, to choose what to do even when we don't feel like doing it. But if you only chase after the feeling of must feel happy, must feel light, must feel chill, then you will always feel lacking. Because emotions are things that change every hour. That kind of happiness is like trying to catch a cloud. The more you reach for it, the more it disappears. Instead of asking, how to be happy, ask, have I lived a valuable life today? Do my actions make sense? Am I living up to what I believe? When you focus on meaningful goals, like improving yourself, helping others, pushing your limits, happiness comes naturally. gently, quietly, but deeply, and you'll realize happiness is not a destination. It's a sign that you're on the right path. Blank. Underscore. Blank. In short, don't pursue happiness as if it were a commodity you had to buy. Happiness is a consequence, not a goal. Live right, live worthily, and happiness will come as a reward. No need to chase. And you know what? All 9 parts of this video have one thing in common. The advice sounds good but is not enough. And can even be dangerous if you don't understand nature and don't act properly. Maturity doesn't come from listening to a lot of advice, but from knowing how to analyze, reflect, filter, and dare to do what needs to be done even when it's not easy. If you find these valuable, please share them with someone who needs a wake-up call. And don't forget, every day you live sober is a step closer to becoming your strongest self. After all this, I just want to ask you one very real thing. Have you ever had a piece of advice that sounded right derail your life? Maybe it's just follow your passion, and you leave everything unfinished without knowing what you're going to eat tomorrow. Maybe it's because you always be positive that you keep your sadness to yourself until it explodes into a crisis. Or worse, you may believe that just be good to life. Life will be good to you, and then you are looked down upon, taken advantage of, and carry with you an unnamed resentment. You're not wrong to believe advice. We've all done it. But the important thing is, at some point, you have to wake up and realize what is truly useful advice, and what is just glossy but empty words. In today's information-saturated world, it's not the amount of advice you know by heart that makes you powerful, but it is the ability to reflect, to dare to ask the opposite question. Is this really true for me? It is the discipline of action, not waiting for inspiration, not avoiding pain, not leaving it up to the universe. And most importantly, it is clear thinking, daring to put aside sweet but dangerous things, to retain simple but truly solid values. Stoic philosophy reminds us, there is no easy way to become strong from within, only by taking a slow, contemplative, sometimes lonely journey, but step by step, small action by small action, will you build true inner strength. If you have made it to the end of this video, I believe you no longer want to live by cheap inspirational quotes. You want to understand deeply, live truly, and grow up truly, and that's what you deserve. So, use this video as a starting point. Start looking at each belief you are carrying. Start asking questions before following any advice. Start taking action, even the smallest action, to create a life that is meaningful. Not just sounds good, because in the end, you don't have to live by what other people tell you is right. You need to live what you know to be true, and be willing to pay the price to live it. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Are you ready? Ready to remove the masks of fake wisdom, to live a life with courage, depth, and true value? If so, please leave a comment below. Right finger. I choose to live authentically, not live by empty advice. I will drop by to read and respond to each one. And don't forget, if this video reaches you, it will surely reach someone in need. Please share it, because an awakened generation doesn't start with big things. It starts when individuals, like you, dare to think differently, live authentically, and act